Good evening, everybody. I hope your Friday is going well for you. I'm going to be working in my ledger journal again this week. I'm starting a new spread. I don't think the spread that I did last week's completely finished, but I didn't really want to play around with it tonight. So I decided to start a new one. I'm just putting some clear gesso down on these pages because the journal pages, it's a antique journal, so the journal pages are really delicate, and I just wanted to give it a bit more strength and tooth so that when I paint over it, the page hopefully will hold up. So I put way too much clear gesso on the page, so I'm just working through that now. How are you all? I hope you're all well. I'm well. I'm just very tired after the work week. My brain's just not working properly. So I thought I would, and it took me a really long time to do this video. It ended up being well over about an hour and 15 minutes in total. I edited out all of the drying time and it was still over an hour. And I really wanted to keep these down to around the 30-minute mark, 30 minutes or just a bit less. So this one's going to be a fairly quick one because I'm obviously doing it at speed. So it's only about 16 minutes long. But yeah, so just drying off that page. The ink did run a little bit, but not too badly actually. Now I think now I'm going to be pulling out some paints. I know I get my NeoColour 2s out, so I don't have a whole set of these. I've just got the colours that I like. So I'm just going through picking a selection of NeoColour 2s. They're a water-based wax pencil, which are lovely to work with, and they really activate well with water. As I said, my brain wasn't really in gear, so all I really wanted to do was just play around, scribble on the page, slap some paint down and really not have to think too much, just to sort of wind down after work and then get myself set up for the weekend. So I really like this. So I've gone with cool colours first. So I think that's vermilion, yellow, there's a pink, a reddy colour and a lighter pink that I end up using. All the colours and the supplies that I've used are in the description box below. If you like the video, please do hit that like, and if you feel called to do so, subscribe and hit that bell so you know when I upload. But yeah, so just scribbling down. I'll get to it in a minute, and I'll get my paintbrush out and I'll activate those with water. Beautiful bright colours, really like them. This is very much a messy stage, but as I said, all I want to do is just play around in my journal and have a bit of fun. Not, no hard decisions at all. Just doing what I feel called to do when, and then that's the next thing that I'll do, sort of thing. I like the colours that they're mixing together. I like the colours that they're making. There's some nice corally, orangey colours that come through. Now I'm just putting down some turquoise blue now, just as a bit of an accent. And I'll do the same. I'll get the water out and I'll blend that in, or activate it and blend it in. I wish I could work this fast in real life. It would be really good. I was just particularly slow this evening, like really just, speed was not something I could do. I like that purple that it's making there. It's a nice mauve colour. I've dried that off now. What next? I got the white gesso out. I want to sort of put a bit of a layer of white gesso around, just to sort of blend all those colours in and sort of unify them a little bit. So I start off with my brush, and you'll see in a minute that I'll actually get my brayer out Again, I did this last week as well, and it's something that I do quite often, is I get that brayer out and just spread it around with that. It's nice and quick. I am trying to be as careful as I can be with this paper because it is very delicate, but it's holding up quite well, actually, considering just how old it is and how fine and thin the paper is. Alrighty, so what do I do next? Oh, I've get some paint, acrylic paints out. These are Liquitex Basics and some, what is it? The yellow is Golden So Flat. I don't normally use expensive paint, and this Golden So Flat paints is not cheap. It's not super expensive, but it's not cheap either. But I don't normally use it in my journal, but I can't paint in my studio at the moment because it's doubling up as my office. So my office desk is in here. And it's been sitting in my cart for, over a year, over 2 years actually. So I just decided last week I'll just get it and use it. Otherwise it's just going to sit there for another 6 to 12 months. So I'm waiting on our house being built so that we can move my office back into the house and get more space in my studio so I can put an easel up. So this is just a slightly different shade of yellow. It's a really bright yellow and really pretty, actually. And I love that coral colour that it ends up making when it's mixed with the red. Very pretty. So just another layer. Dried that off now. I've got the gesso out again, and I'm going to go over that with the brayer again, just to, again, sort of unify it all. I've got some blue. I think that is Midnite Blue. It's DecoArt Americana. I'm just using Dilutions. I think this is a Dilutions stencil. Just using that. I felt like some numbers and letters, if I could get them on there. I don't know that I do necessarily bring the letters in, but that was my aim at this point, was to just get some numbers and letters. Oh, that's right. I found this ledger stencil, and I'm using some turquoise blue. Again, it's the Americana. It's just cheap craft paint. So just I'm using a makeup sponge just to get the paint on that stencil. Didn't turn out as well as what I liked, but at the end of the day, it's just another layer underneath, and it gives it nice texture as well. So not super impressed with the stencil, but yeah, worked fine. And then now I'm just using up the paint that's on my palette with my fingers. I think I gave up on paintbrushes at this point and really just wanted to get my hands in there and move the paint around. Drying that off now. I've got out some more Golden So Flat matte paint, white and black, I think, from memory. So I'm just getting that out, and I think, yes, I use a credit card just to make some lines. Again, just another layer on the page. It's an old credit card, not one that's in use. That's something I quite like doing. I quite like using the credit card and making lines like that. It's one of the things that I tend to go to. Carrying it on up the other side of the page. There we go, all finished with that now. Drying that off. I've got the black out. I'm just making some marks with my pen, with my brush, just some dots around the page. Excuse me. Again, nothing that needs my brain to actually do too much work. It's really just zoning out at this point and getting the marks down on the page. The only thing I really have to think about is not to put my arm or my clothes in the paint where I've already painted, which I just did then from memory. I put my hand in where I'd worked before. Drying that off. Coming back with, again, another layer of paint. I've got the Liquitex Basics. This is Fluorescent Pink. And I go in again with some Fluorescent Orange in a moment, but just putting another layer down. I love this colour. It's just, it's one of my favourite colours. So Prussian Blue is my favouriteest colour in the whole world, but hot pink, you know, bright orange, lime green, bright yellow. I really love those colours as well. Turquoise blue, obviously. Now I've got my Sabilo oil pencil here, and what I'm doing is I'm just drawing in some very rough, I should say, leaf or petal shapes. Very organic, just, you know, loose shapes. They're not meant to be representative in any way. Just, you know, making some marks on the page. I've got now a small brush. I don't think this one was small enough. I think I got another one, which was smaller. Yep, I did. And I'm just activating that Sabilo oil and trying to bring the shadows outside of the petals. I want to keep the inside of the petals, the colours that are underneath, and then sort of work on the outside of those shapes a bit later on. But so I'm just going through activating all of those shapes and bringing them more clearly onto the page. I like the Sabilo oil pencils. They do really just write on anything. It's they're very good for what they are. The only downside is they do reactivate all the time. So if you're going over with another layer, you've really got to be mindful that the Sabilo oil will reactivate and it will go into the layer above it as well. But anyway, I find it's good for really outlining things and bringing some shadows in around things. So I use them all the time. Nearly done there, drying it off. So now I've got some Pebeo. What is it called? Pebeo Studio Acrylics, and they're iridescent colours. So I'm starting off, I'm just doing a glaze on the background, on the outside of those shapes that I've drawn, just to unify the background and make hopefully my aim was to make those shapes pop out and be the focal image on the page. I love these paints. They're very pretty, very shimmery, very shiny, really lovely paints. So I use this pink, which is, I think it's called Iridescent Red Blue. It'll be listed below. I used this, and then I also bought out an orange yellow colour as well, and did that in a second. You'll see me bring that out. But I'm just sort of knocking the background back a bit. Here we go. Here's the orange yellow now. Again, just going in and around those shapes, taking care not to go in them as much as I can. I just did then. I'll wipe it off in a second. There we go. I quite often do this in my large paintings that I do on canvases and wood. I do a very similar technique in my paintings, even when I do them on a canvas. I'll do lots and lots of mark making, and then I'll unify the background by doing a glaze over it. So here I'm going around the shapes again, really scratchily with my Posca pen. It's a 0.7 black. Really scratchy, just bringing those shapes, giving them a little bit more definition. Now I'm picking up my 0.7 white Posca pen. I was trying to get, just to put some fine highlights in there, but I couldn't get it working. I think I got some slightly wet paint on it and it just didn't want to work. So I went and got a larger size. Here I am now. It's just the next size up. I think it's 1.2 or something like that, Posca pen. A little bit bigger than what I like to work with, but it's what I had at hand, so it's fine. I'm just putting in some highlights, basically, again, just to sort of bring those shapes out from the background of the page. Excuse me. And then the last thing that I'm doing, which is something that I like to do, is just I've got a creamy art pen. It's listed in the description below, but I'm just putting a border around the page like I tend to do in my journal. I don't necessarily do this in my paintings all the time, but I do it in my journal quite a lot because I think it just finishes off the page quite nicely. And I think that's almost it. Yep, all done. Well, thank you for joining me if you stayed to the end, and have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye for now.